What was so important about this man to where you cannot exercise freedom of speech? There were so many things said about a lot of us that things happened to, and nothing ever got done like how things are getting done with this situation. And it's something that people really need to pay attention to. We're gonna review and react to a video of a rapper that said some things, and I'm not saying I support what he says at all, but we do have certain rights. What was so important about this Charlie dude to where everything's happening to anybody who speaks about him? This is some of the most different stuff I've ever experienced. I don't even think people get in this much trouble when they talk about the Orange Man. Do I think this guy represents the thoughts of majority of the people like him? I do. Do I think that there might be some higher ups that uses him as a mouthpiece? I do. I really do. But he had very different views of us. And now that we're speaking about our views of him, we get held at a different standard. Different outcomes happen. This situation has opened up something that I hope a lot of you pay attention to. Freedom of speech. The same indifferences that he was speaking that we don't go through, we're going through them. His message and then what happened is such a eerie thing. Trust me.
There's this absolutely terrible person, a rapper who calls himself Bob Villain, and you probably have already seen this video, but somebody who decided to mock Charlie Kirk and the horrific thing that happened to him last week. And since then, he has been facing an insane amount of backlash online, and the news is only getting worse and worse for him. Visas are getting revoked. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. He's losing venues. This whole thing is completely falling apart on him to the point where he released a response video in total panic mode, absolutely melting down over the backlash and the complete backfire that this whole thing is turning into for him. We're gonna get into the whole thing and see what is going on. He deserves every little bad thing that is happening to him today.
I want to stop it real quick because there's two things that just stuck out to me. They're able to revoke this person's visa because he used his rights. But the guy in the video says he deserves everything that he's getting, every bad thing that he's getting. Now, let's put this in perspective, and we got to be real about it. The reason this dude is going through what he's going through is because he had an opinion and voiced it, and he had a platform. Now, there's a lot of people that feel like Charlie deserved what he got. So what's the difference between this dude saying what he said about Charlie and then the YouTuber saying what he said about the rapper? What's the difference? But to really take away a person's right to travel because you feel like they misuse their right to speech, like, come on, you gotta really make that make sense and put it in perspective. And we should be nervous about where this leads us in the future. I'm just saying, that's just my opinion.
If you guys haven't seen this video, I'm unfortunately going to subject you to it, and we're going to go from there because you guys have to see the type of evil that we're dealing with these individuals, with these leftist lunatics.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being. The pronouns was, were,
absolutely just abhorrent. Everyone was completely destroying him all over the internet, and rightfully so.
I got a simple question. Where was this at with Rodney King George Floyd. There are so many others I could name, but where was this energy at? Why did people feel so liberated to just mock these things from middle school to retired men? But here we have this situation here, and this dude's just so special. You better not say anything, and those YouTube titles better not be negative, or else. What times are we in, you guys? It really makes you think. Anyway, let's tap into DC Mister. This is like my #1 supporter. He gave his view on it, and he has a very strong take. And I'll leave his information for his channel up there. Let's get him to 2,000 subscribers, you guys. Let's go.
But just to get something off my chest, and I want you to do your own research, and I want you to come up with your own conclusions, and I want you to finalize your thoughts about this. But in my humble opinion, Charlie Kirk was nothing but a racist, a bigot, and a misogynist. That's all he did was talk negative about black people. That's all he did was talk negative about black women, people of color, DEI, which we all know only benefited white females for the most part, but they put our face on it to make it appear as though we, as the people of our complexion, are the ones that DEI was for. But with that being said, back to our leadership. We have our president and our vice president supporting a racist. They're actually getting people fired from their jobs for saying anything negative about a racist. Let me be clear when I say that, because I really need y'all to do, again, your own research. This is my conclusion. They're celebrating a racist. The last thing that I'm going to say on this topic is I'm going to drop a jewel for you. This is where we've come.
New exclusive reporting this hour on a planned push by top military leaders to try and recruit new troops after the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Two officials familiar with the planning tell NBC News there are plans for a campaign to encourage young people to join the U.S. military to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy. NBC News senior national security correspondent, Courtney Cuby, has been digging into this for us. Courtney, what have you learned?
Yeah, so this is an effort that's being led by the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. That's retired General Anthony Tata. The goal here is to look at whether they can use Charlie Kirk's legacy as essentially a national call to service. And that would include potentially things like mottos like, we need to grow a generation of warriors in honor of Charlie. It could all.
The military is about to start a recruitment campaign in honor of a racist.
Now, I want to say this. Why wasn't Charlie wrong when he spoke about the African American community, the lack of fathers or influence, or just his opinion, whether they were based on stats or just stereotypical things? Why wasn't he wrong? Why didn't he have to go through certain things? What was so important about this dude to where it's so wrong to speak your opinion? Malcolm X, Martin Luther, JFK, like, you can speak anything about any of these people, but it was something about Charlie. What was it? What do you think delegated this guy so much posthumous power? Or did he have his power all along? And this whole time I was nervous about Elon and Orange Man. But this little dude, and then I'm going to tell you something that I really didn't agree with, and this is my opinion. I don't care who gets mad. He never debated with people of his own age range. It was book smart, common sense, naive teens and young adults at colleges. But I'm gonna just sit there right there. Let me shut up before they yeah, let's go.